unmute yourself. You're on the whole thing.
What is going on, all you cool cats and kittens? It's Michael Gascon, the Horse Guru, and we are back for yet another Horse Talk Live. We are going to be doing some video review, and we're going to be answering some questions that you good folk might have about your ponies. What a magical time to be alive. It has been a crazy past 90 days. In the past 90 days, we've got over 26 million views across our social media platform on our reels, giving out information, trying to help the good folks that ride the ponies around the world, trying to give out that good information. We also have an extreme Mustang makeover horse named Belle. We are 45 days in with her. She is awesome. We took her out to the obstacle course today. She got a big girl bit for the first time today, got a set of shanks for the first time today. Big step forward in her training. We also played in a soccer game. We have all kinds of ponies in for training at the moment. Just had a crazy retreat this past week. All kinds of horses, anything you can think of, you name it, we had it there, helping all kinds of people in their confidence, working on the confidence retreat. Now we have another advanced, we have an intermediate retreat coming up next week. Super looking forward to that. And we have the 2023 train off, horse help train off, where we are going to take 12 wild ponies and go from wild to willing in just a few months. Very excited to see the very best that this country has to offer in the future of horse training. That's going to be very exciting. Whoever wins that train off is going to get $120,000 training contract for the next year. So you better believe these guys and gals are going to be gunning for that top spot. We just met our final contestants last night. We had a Zoom call on with them. Super exciting. Real nice folks. Can't wait to see them in action because, you know, the action and the South Mississippi sun will prune away the ones that aren't going to make it. All right, guys. So without further ado, I bring to you the videos.
7-2. Hello. Press this little button right there.
Little button.
There you go.
All right. Come here, little mouse.
Barbara Tamborski and Jean, a 20-year-old saddlebred. Day 2 of working with the draw reins. I'm still working on getting his head lower and lower, but he does seem to take a lot less pressure.
So she is working with Mr. Jean, a 20-year-old saddlebred that's kind of been hot to trot his whole life. She is working on making him cool, calm, and relaxed. And she is doing that by dropping his head below the saddle. And you might say, but he's a saddlebred. Well, where do giraffes drink their water from? From the river. They got to drop their head to do it, so Jean can drop his head to do it. And that's about as calm as Jean can look. So she is dropping his head. Whenever his head gets below that saddle, she's releasing the reins and putting him on loose rein. Anytime he picks his head up above the saddle, she's saying, no, sir. Your job is to simply put your head down and be a relaxed horse. Think about this. Control the head, control the horse, left and right, control their face and their butt, and no horse will ever take you where you don't want to go. No bucking, no running, no rearing if you control left and right. Up and down controls how they go. Gene here likes to go around with his head up in the air like he's a little prairie dog looking to see the hyenas coming at all times, like a little dragon. But whenever his head's down, he is the calmest, quietest version of himself, like you see right there. So kudos to Miss Barb putting in that time. She came to an advanced boot camp and then to a master class, and we gave her some insider secrets in that master class of how to get them to relax. You see her with a snap on some draw reins here, just something that some tools you can pick up at one of our master classes. Really getting him relaxed and easy, really painting a very clear picture of what we are looking for. Hey, from Missouri, Arizona, Maine in the house. Looking really good, Miss Barb. You're definitely on the right track. Look at him relaxed, not jigging, not sweating. Very nice. Usually he's looking hot to trot and ready to go somewhere. Well, it's been exciting days. We have been working aggressive horses. We've been working problem horses. We've been working hot horses, cold horses, big horses, small horses. Seems like a lot of ponies on our plate right now. Loving the quietness here. If any of you guys watching Eugene, you will understand how big of a thing it is for him to just be able to trot off quietly with his head down. That is freaking awesome. Miss Winnie says, how is Norman doing? Norman is doing great. Had a big breakthrough today. Got his first walk trot canter with his head down. Real happy to see that. Softening up. Probably go out and about for the first time tomorrow.
Poor Fireball's being a rope horse.
Yeah.
Poor guy. Being a jam up rope horse right now.
So for my girls like Miss Linda, Miss Patty that were at the mastermind with Miss Barb, I mean, you can see that's huge difference. She's doing a lot better than I was doing. I'll tell you that. She's gone home and done her homework. Very nice. To be able to get that horse to move his feet and then come back down to the walk and trot off and then come back down to the walk, that is a big step
Barbara
forward.
Tamborski and Chica, a 6-year-old Pasifino, were working on gait consistency.
All right, so working on gait consistency right here. Very nice in the gate. I would let her move out a little bit more. We're holding her back a little bit much. Let her roll. Give her a little bit more freedom to go. That's better. Going a little bit faster allows her to move her feet a little bit better. When you see you hold her up, she kind of gets a little hop about her. You kind of want to give her the freedom to move out a little bit more. Just hands in the same frame. I love how your body's postured up. Look on Jean, how she was sitting so relaxed, sitting like she had no spine. Now she wants this horse to gate. Look at her chest open, her shoulders back. She's driving that horse. Absolutely what we want to see. But let's let that filly roll out a little bit more, a little bit faster. Very consistent in the head. I like it. So a spicy little filly. Her name's Chica. So just a couple months ago, she was hopping and bopping and kind of jumping around. Lot better. Very nice, Miss Barb. Working on that neck rein. Look at Miss Laura looking so good. Look at that quiet walk.
Hi, Lori.
Good timing. Great timing. That's exactly what I'm talking about. Horse thought about speeding up. You touched her. She stayed at the walk. Beautiful.
That looks fantastic.
Now you talking about a young lady that has been putting in that work, trying to get the results. That is Miss Laura right here. That's it, cowgirl. Just like that. That's the timing that I'm talking about. That's exactly what I'm talking about. She takes a deep breath. You say, hey, I don't want that. That's the time to correct. Correct before they make that mistake. Don't let them get 20 feet and doing the wrong thing to say, hey, by the way, you're doing the wrong thing. Look at that. Look at that. You're trailblazing. That's what I'm talking about. Love the relaxed posture. Love that you're sitting back. You look relaxed and easy. Giving her a job. I love the angle of the video. Kind of looks like a Michael Myers film. Looking over your shoulder where you want to go. Very nice. I bet those ponies like that green grass there. What a difference. I think you might get transformation of the week. Very nice work.
Barbara Tamborski and Sonny, a 25-year-old Tennessee Walker, were working on spirals. He's really stiff, and I'm not sure he really understands the halter. He's been ridden with a solid bit.
So let's just take a moment here to tell Miss Lori what an amazing job she did. Those two were struggling not too long ago. So the fact that she stuck with it, kept making the adjustments, kept taking the advice and then going home and trying it, and then get a little bit better, but still struggling, take some more advice, she kept making those incremental granular changes until you see the end result. Freaking awesome. I am so proud of you, Miss Lori. Great job. I can't emphasize the change that I see there. That is amazing.
Since he was a 6-year-old.
We're back. So Miss Barb now has gotten so good that she's starting to take on projects, including but not limited to her husband's horse. So he's been driven in a Tennessee Walker bridle, straight on, stiff, rigid, and she's trying to make him soft because we know softness is safety. Control the head, control the horse. I like how she just keeps picking away at his resistance. You got to remember, streams move mountains. Miss Lori, look at the amount of support and people you got behind you. That is awesome. Good job backing up crooked. That's what we want to see. So if you have a lifelong straight rigid horse and you're going to change them to be soft and easy, understand it's going to take some doing. It's not just going to kind of fall into place. It's going to take rep after rep, flex after flex, back after back. Babe, you remember the song that I wrote that one time about the flexing and the back end and the circle?
Back end, bending, flexing, moving and flexing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was not good.
It wasn't
a banger. It was not a banger.
It was good.
It wasn't a hit. Georgia's probably on here from Australia. She's not going to say it's a banger.
You know who said they liked it? Was Hannah.
Barbara Tamborski and Jean, a 20-year-old saddlebred, were working on keeping his head low, and this is the first time we've tried to canter. He got pretty wound after the canter, and the second part of the video shows how he was just after the canter. It was really hard to get his head low and for him to walk relaxed. The final clip is the final result after 20 minutes.
So we got a couple videos here. She has him head down quiet and easy, but she's going to try to transition because, of course, once you get a horse nice and easy, well, now you got to press the gas pedal and see how they handle. So what she is looking to do is she wants to drive him through the transitions and then tell him to come right back down and be quiet. Great horsemanship 101. Speed transitions are highly important. This guy, of course, the faster he goes, the more he wants to pick his head up and drive through the bridle. So she's going to try to canter him and keep his head low. So in the beginning, this is the beginning of her getting him home and trying this. There we go. We got the canter. That's nice. See his head starting to rise up. Him kind of want to drive through the bridle. There we go. So now she's cantering him. Now she's trying to put him back down. Now she's trying to relax him again. And you see him kind of upside down in the bridle, trying to fight out of it. He got a little excited. Now he wants to get up. So she's going to keep working through that, working through that. So Miss Kelly says saddlebreds naturally have a high carriage. It's not as high as you think it is. A lot of the naturalness that you think you see in saddlebreds come from being trained to have their head high. Yes, they do have a long neck and head, but I have started dozens of saddlebreds for a show farm, and they don't get high headed until after they leave here and get with their trainers. When I start them and they know nothing as a 3-year-old saddlebred, just getting started on their saddle, since we give them a loose rein when we're riding around, they have no reason to jump their head up in the air. So it's not until they put the bridle on them and start holding them that they drive up real high and they get that stuck feeling. So saddlebreds don't even seem that hot whenever we start them from scratch. It's not until they're driven into the bridle and they're stuck upward, the same way as passos. Passos are high-headed. No. Passos who are started driven into the bridle are real high-headed, but our colts that we start, they don't have their head high because we don't hold their head up. So it's the same thing in the saddlebreds. If you see the colts that I give back after 30 days, they walk, trot, canter, chase cows, do obstacles, play soccer, and they're not particularly high-headed because we never hold them up. We give them a loose rein everywhere that we're riding. And then once the show trainers get them after they've been colt started by us, and you see them a year later, I mean, they are locked in up here. Their head's stuck up here, but that's what they're looking for in the show ring. Same way in the passos. So now look, she's worked with them, flexed them, softened them. Now look, when he starts to get quiet, his head is coming down. There's a direct cause and effect relationship between how high your head is and how hot you are. The hottest a horse is going to be, head up, nose out. The quietest a horse is going to be is head down, nose down. So you want to think about it this way. Left and right controls where the horse goes, because if you can control left and right, you can control their butt. If you can control their butt, they cannot run with you, buck with you, rear with you. No horses run, buck, or rear with their back feet crossed. If you control left and right, you can handle that. If you want a horse to be hot, pick their head up and add energy. If you want your horse to be quiet, put their head down below their back and relax and take your foot off the gas pedal. It's not a breed thing. It's a condition thing. We started hundreds of saddlebreds and passos and Arabians and Frisians. And when we start them and they know nothing and their head's down, they're just a relaxed ranch horse that looks fancy, but they are not high-headed and strung up. It's not until they get prepared for the show ring that the trainer picks their head up that they come to life. The same way, for every one quarter horse that you see with their head down, loping around on a loose rein, come to my clinics. I will show you 25 that have their head in the air, their eyes are white, their tongue's hanging out the side of their mouth, that they are wild and problematic, but their head's up and their energy's high. We soften them, we drop their head, they look like a different horse. And it's not a breed thing, guys. It's a conditioning. When their poll, which is right between their ears, drops below their withers, it releases an endorphin that kills adrenaline. So anytime that we can get your head below their back, that's going to release an endorphin that kills adrenaline. It's going to make this horse relax a lot. Question here: what do you do if the horse catches you off guard and starts to bolt when you weren't ready, and you are holding on for dear life and don't have the chance to turn their head and take their butt away? So what happens when they catch you off guard is we freeze up. What you really want to do is try your very best to snap out of it. So you can slide your hand down the rein and take their face and take their butt. But you're saying in this instant, they caught you off guard. They take off and you're holding on for dear life and you don't have a chance to turn their head and take their butt away, which means you're frozen with fear and the horse is running for dear life. Just replay all the great memories that you've had in your life, because you're running to the crash. No, you're going to run.
Fix it before you get to that position. Find the hole.
If you are in a runaway Prius, okay, remember we had those a couple years ago where the Prius would go and nobody could shut them down and they had to call like police and they're going to run away with their car. If we can't, I fell off. See, that's exactly what I meant is if you freeze up and you can't turn the steering wheel, you're riding until the horse decides not to ride anymore. You're going to go to the crash site or you're going to go until the horse doesn't want to run anymore. Usually the crash site happens first because horses can run, especially when they're fear running, for a ridiculous amount of time. So usually we're going to fall off first. The idea is to train yourself and make it muscle memory to slide your hand down, find their face, take their butt. And we don't even call it a one rein stop around here. We just disengage. We just redirect. And we make it so common practice around here that my riders don't freeze up when that happens. They find their face, they move their butt because we spook them and put them in bad situations so often. We're purposefully under control chaos that we do this so often that our riders here it's muscle memory. They don't get caught off guard. And if they do get caught off guard, something snaps in them. They slide their hand down the rein and find their face. And they wouldn't be on a horse that they feel like if they did have one rein that they could get drugged with. So in the instance that you get run away with and your brain freezes up, unfortunately, there's not a backup plan if the driver, which is the only passenger on the horse, if the driver becomes the passenger, unfortunately, you're going to go until the crash site or until the horse decides to stop running. What your destiny relies on your hands because your hands control their head and the head controls the horse. Sorry to hear that you fell off. I hope you didn't get hurt. My mare gets more and more amped up the more we turn. All right, Miss Bonnie. So we are not trying to turn them and go in multiple circles. We are just trying to shut down that runaway. Just take that. A lot of people are thinking one rein stop and they get into this vortex type circle. We are just trying to, if we are in a runaway, take their breath from them and shut them down. And immediately we're going to go to flexing and backing and all these other exercises. We're just talking just to shut down the power and get it to a controllable speed where we can do other things, where we can get the brakes back in, where we can do more. Tell us about Kelsey's runaway. Well, that's a great question that you have there. So my wife and my loving wife of the past 20 years, 2 years. Well, it's felt like 20. It's been a little time.
Yeah.
She was helping me in this retreat because we had a good number of problem ponies at this retreat, and we had a mule. And she says, I love mules. So she goes to ride said mule.
I take it through the program and we pass, but we pass with the lowest possible passing grade that you're allowed to move forward with.
Right. So if you pass with a D, but it's a mule, don't ride.
Anywho, so Michael always says there's two ways to work the resistance in a horse. You can either scare the bejesus out of it or you can add speed.
What's this shit?
We scared him and scaring wasn't a thing. There wasn't resistance to work through with the scare. So we consecutively can get together as a group because he invented this program. I decided to add speed. And when I added said speed, we found out exactly why he had the problems that he had.
I was trying to help clients, sweet, innocent people. I was looking the other way, trying to help people, trying to keep them safe.
I had the situation under control.
No regard for my own life, health, and well-being. And out of the corner of my eye, I see the flash of white. And when I look, there is a mule going 100 miles per hour straight at the whole arena, a place to go. I'm standing in the middle of the arena, whole arena to go. Run anywhere you want to. Run straight for me, head sideways, turned here. Could not control the head, so she could not control the mule. So if you have a mule, make sure they are ridiculously soft.
Yeah, get a better grade level. Don't just pass. Get you an A or a B. It's okay. He stayed for training. We fixing it.
Yeah, we're working on it. They decided to leave him for training, so he has our undivided attention. All right. Do you have some questions for me?
I do.
Well, come on.
All right. First question is about second grade.
Second grade.
Okay. Lady is actually doing very well and learning quickly. My halter lead is still on back order, so we're using a generic one that I found until it gets here. No saddle has been used up to second grade for various reasons. Her third grade desensitizing has been going pretty good. From kindergarten, I would bring her to the mounting block to get her used to it, desensitizing her. On her third time, did amazingly. She knows to step over and move over, even stood still. Now with the saddle on, as soon as I get the step, she moves off. Did her small lunge circle to get her refocused and tried over 30 to 40 times repeatedly, steps away. I did not try again after removing the saddle. Not sure what to do as it really went backwards. Lady is a Tennessee Walker Rescue. I've only had her 3 weeks and she is 5 years old. I do not know of her background. I've heard she's been ridden once months back, but I'm not sure how she did.
All right, young lady. So if you are having an issue, you're desensitizing, you are in second grade, which means you are freezing up. And in third grade, you're desensitizing emotion. When it comes to desensitize with the mounting block, we don't start with the mounting block. Quite frankly, if we feel we needed a mounting block, we go over to the fence, we go over to the panels, we go over to the gate, and we climb up there and we teach them the come get me trick. Can you teach the come get me trick before you ride? For years, I thought, no, come get me trick's a finished exercise. I was incorrect. I was at a cold starting competition, and one of my competitors was experienced, seasoned young man from down under, and he was vertically challenged. So he was riding a big filly. I saw him do the come get me trick for the first time he ever mounted her. And from that time forward, it's always stuck with me. Oh, we can teach the come get me trick at any time. So if you are working on a mounting block, don't worry about the mounting block. Go teach her the come get me trick from the fence and drive her over. If she's boogering away, when you are doing it from a fence or a gate, they can booger away and you still have a lead rope and you can draw them back to you. Until they want to come to you. If you do it with the mounting block, you're kind of desensitizing. The mounting block's heavy. It's not a good fit because it's easy for them to move away. It's hard for you to keep up with them with the mounting block in your hand. So go teach her to come give me a trick. Introduce the mounting block later.
Be mindful that first grade is super soft, especially if you're using a generic halter until ours gets there. And then be mindful as well that you have that control before you get on the wall, before you get on the fence and start asking for the come get me trick and teaching that, because you want to make sure you have enough lead line and you have a good halter to make sure that horse doesn't bolt off. Good. Okay. Next question. Number 2. I believe this is still the same lady. Third grade, my horse was moving along really well once she understood what I wanted, learned fast. We got into desensitizing and did well, but for some reason at this point, she is deliberately getting into my space, bucks if I send her out on a longer line, and she doesn't want to. While lunging, she all of a sudden stops and walks up to me, almost like saying, I'm bored. I don't want to do this anymore. Then I make her do it anyway, but I feel as this week she has moved backwards. Teresa.
All right. So if that horse is moving into your space and not listening to you sending them off, that is a blatant sign of disrespect. So maybe you have a horse that does not care if you swing a lead rope at him. Maybe you're not swinging a lead rope at him. Maybe you're swinging a lead rope at him, but you are not actually connecting and using the popper. So she thinks you're bluffing and she is calling your bluff. At some point, you got to be mama bear. And when you ask her to do simple, monotonous exercises and she says no, you have to be the voice of reason and say, yes, ma'am, you will go to school today. Yes, ma'am, you will get on that bus and go get your education. Yes, ma'am, you will come home and do your homework. So at some point, whenever they say, oh, I did it whenever it was exciting and new, but now it's not exciting to me, so I'm not going to do it. That's them testing you. If they're going to test you on the ground like that, believe me, they are going to test you in the saddle like that. So convince her. It starts with the lead rope that you already have in your hand. Wave it once or twice and then let her feel the end of it. And then if that doesn't work, feel free to pick up a Liberty whip, a crop, a lunge whip. Same thing. Give her the opportunity. Ask her nicely. Give her a warning. Give her the crop. And give her a little fire, a little motivation. Because at some point, what she's doing on the ground is what's going to mirror in the saddle. So if she's being, it bothers me when people say, oh, my horse rides good, but it's horrible on the ground. If it's riding good, it's because it wants to. If your horse is disrespectful and bossing you around on the ground and then rides good, it's because it wants to have good rides. How they treat you on the ground tells you a lot about how they feel about you. And you are a lesser version of yourself when you get on their back. You will never be more assertive as you are on the ground, as confident as you are on the ground, as balanced as you are on the ground, as strong as you are on the ground. So if they're getting the better of you on the ground, we need to up the intensity and mean it, and make sure that we have their number on the ground before we get in the saddle.
Okay, next question. This is from Miss Kelly, and this is in regards to 4th grade in the course. If you're getting on a horse for the first time and it starts to buck and you shut it down and it freezes, at that point, you pause for a moment and wait for the horse to relax? Or do you jump right into disengaging the hind end and putting it to work?
Okay, so me personally, if I go to step up in the saddle and the horse steps forward, I'm going to try to bump the rein. Let's say they really do give me a buck. I'm going to, when my feet touch the ground, I'm already have my body weight. They've got to the end of the rein. They're getting disengaged. If I feel like it was a sissy buck, nothing to worry about, I'm stepping right back to the stirrup, stepping right back up and giving them a chance again. If I feel like, holy moly, that was a good buck, I am going to turn that right back into 1st grade. I've already disengaged them. I step right back to them, drive them forward, disengage them, drive them forward, disengage them until they have this look. Uh-oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Then we're going to go through that process of 4th grade again. So judging on the severity, not severe at all. A lot of times I won't even step down. I'll just bump the rein a time or two until they freeze up, swing a leg over. If they buck, but I feel like it's no big deal, they buck, my foot comes back to the ground, I immediately disengage and I'm right sucked back on them. What I'm not going to do is they buck, I step down, disengage, and then wait for the dust to settle and them get a breather and think, oh, okay, if he goes to get on, I just take a buck and then he's not going to get on me. I do not want them thinking that, regardless of severe or not severe buck. I want them to think, ooh, that was the wrong answer, is what I want them to think. So not a severe buck, I step down, disengage them, I step right back to beside them, put my foot in the stirrup and stepping back up again. If it is a severe explosion, then I'm going to increase the energy. I'm going to probably be popping them on the flank with one hand as I am pulling them around with the other hand, disengage, pressure, disengage, pressure, disengage, pressure, until the horse says, I am so sorry. I did not mean to do that, and I will not do it again. And when I get that feeling, then I'll step back into the stirrup. So that's kind of a horse-by-horse scenario, but those are kind of the 3 scenarios.
That is what I have.
Guys, what wonderful questions. What wonderful questions. If you guys have any videos of your horses working, feel free to send them in. We are here to help. Our life's mission is to help 1 million horses and their people. Okay, so that means that we're going to help people on here. That means we're going to help people in person. We're going to help people at retreats. We are going to make videos for generations to come to be able to learn from. We are going to train these 6 trainers who are coming in so they can go out into the industry and help people with their horses. We are going to put together the best horse training academy that has ever existed, that people can go and leave this academy and work any breed of horse imaginable and help as many ponies and people as possible. Your safety is our main concern. We want to keep you safe, and we also want to keep those ponies to keep people safe, because we have come to realize ponies that hurt people end up in bad places. Ponies that hurt people end up in bad places. So we are doing our very best to give as much education both to the ponies and to the people to stay safe and enjoy their horses. And if you feel safe, you feel confident. If you feel confident, it's hard not to have a fun time on your horse. So that's just what we're trying to do. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will see you next week on Horse Talk Live.
Bye, guys. Have a great night.
Bye.